Hello, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. It is time already to round up all of the products I have been testing in the past month. I would like to do this at the end of the month. And as always, if you have tried these products, make sure and share your review down in the comments so that we can get everyone's reviews of these products. I always love to hear what you guys think. Okay, let's start with lip products. Let's start with this little gloss I'm wearing from Flower Beauty. So I actually have had this on for a couple hours at this point. I can reapply a little bit, although I think it's looking pretty much the same, actually. It's pretty good for 2 hours of wear, right? That it looks the same. So this is a very comfortable formula. This is the Gloss Crush Lip Serum, and I have the shade called Honey Crush, which as you can see is just kind of a very soft, neutral pink. It wore decently well for a gloss. I mean, in the past couple hours, I wasn't eating anything, so, you know, that always makes a big difference. But a decent wear time for a gloss. It has a nice shine to it. It doesn't bother my sensitive lips. It smells kind of like strawberry jam, but in a very fake way. I don't think I care for the scent, but the actual gloss is, you know, it's very nice. Do I think it's better than all the other glosses that are out there? Not really. It's a nice option, but it's not really standing out to me. Let's go ahead and take this off. Talk about something I did not like. So my sister gave this to me. Sorry, sis, I really didn't like this. This is the shade. Is it the shade Crush or is it called Crush Liquid Lipstick? Difficult to tell. But this is my first time trying a ABH liquid lipstick. I'm generally not the biggest fan of liquid lipsticks. I feel like it's one of those deals where if you find a color you like, you'll tolerate wearing a liquid lipstick just for the shade, you know? But I don't care for this shade. Okay, so first of all, the shade is not for me. It does not flatter me at all. Really, really bad color for me. And as you can see, it says it starts to dry down. It is highlighting every single line in my lips. It looks dry, and the more it dries down, the more I desperately want to put something hydrating on top of it. So anyway, that's the shade Crush in the ABH liquid lipstick formula. I can't wait to get it off. Now for something that I have really, really been enjoying. So Influencer sent me this lipstick from Tom Ford. So this is in the new formula. This is the shade N2 Dolce, and look at that. Wow. That's gorgeous. Now, when it comes to a luxury lipstick, I'm always paying attention to the component. Does it feel luxury? It does. It has a nice heft to it. It is not magnetized, but that's okay. It has a nice snap closure. Now I'll show you the color. Okay, is that not gorgeous? And I didn't hold back either. I really went full pigment. Swiping that on. The times where I have worn this, I admit I have worn it a little bit more sheerly, so it's not quite so saturated in color, but I really like the formula of this. I would say it's between a satin and a cream. It just feels so satiny and very lightweight. I really hate a thick lipstick, and this is very thin. It has a nice sheen on my lips. I am very grateful to Influencer to receive this lipstick. Is it worth the high price point? That's debatable. I think anybody who buys luxury makeup could make a case for or against it, I guess, but I feel like it does feel luxury. The formula feels very high-end. The component is nice and heavy, and I do really enjoy the color. It doesn't necessarily go with the rest of my look today, but I do enjoy this color. Let's take it off and show you the next one. Let's talk about this lip liner from Revlon. I have been really enjoying this. So this is the Colorstay Longwear lip liner in the shade Nude, and this is the kind that is a twist-up cream, and it has a little sharpener on the end. This is kind of a deeper nude. Very creamy, very easy to apply. It doesn't feel dry, it wasn't tuggy, just really, really pleasant to apply. As for wear time, I did test this eating through a meal. It didn't make it all the way. I mean, there was still some left, but you know, especially on the inner part of my lips, it was gone, which I kind of expect that with most lip products. But I like this formula enough. I'm definitely interested in more colors. I think it's a really, really nice formula and just a great color. I really like it. I do want a little bit of gloss on though, so I'm just gonna take a little bit more of that Flower Beauty, just a little bit here, and we'll add some gloss. Okay, let's move on to a couple of things I got in PR. That's always absolutely wild for me to say. I am always so surprised when anything gets sent my direction. I'm so grateful. Urban Decay sent me this new quad and one of their new eyeliners. So I am wearing the eyeliner right here. This is the Space Cowboy eyeliner. So I actually thought it was a pretty good idea for them to make a Space Cowboy eyeliner, because sometimes you want that pretty little sparkle here, but it can be a little challenging to make it stay. But when you have it in an eyeliner format, it makes it much easier to apply, much more quick than having to go in with like a little brush and then spraying it with spray and kind of pushing it on. Like this is just a much faster option. And I think it's very nice. Like I said, I've had my makeup on for a couple hours at this point and it has not budged. So that is very nice to see. There is a swatch of Space Cowboy eyeliner. Very beautiful. Let's talk about this quad. They sent me a MoonDust quad. One of my friends was commenting, they were like, they must like have checked out your channel to see if you would even enjoy that sort of thing because that is so right up your alley. And I'm like, I sure hope they did because this is exactly this type of wet, sparkly top coat things that I absolutely enjoy. Let's get you some swatches. So the shades are Space Cowboy, Rides Again, A-List Energy, Sparkle Hour, and Lunar Lit. So these two right here are definitely my favorite. I have a little bit of this tapped in the center of my lid today. Like that I feel like can be really, really intense. Let's quick compare that to regular Space Cowboy. So I'm gonna swatch that right above where I swatched the palette. Okay, so they're similar, very similar, but I do feel like this shade is a little tiny bit more icy. It doesn't have as much of a beige base to it, but the whole palette is supposed to be inspired by Space Cowboy, so it would make sense that's not exactly the same shade. Am I gonna use this? Oh yeah, very much so. And if you enjoy these types of shadows, I do believe this is only available at Sephora. I hope those swatches are helpful. Thank you again very much, Urban Decay. You know the way to my heart. Okay, something else that was sent to me in PR was some skincare. And so from this brand called Banish, I do believe they specialize in helping people treat acne. So they allowed me to pick out a few products to try and I was very careful. I was trying to pick out things that didn't have so many actives in them. This is the Instant Lift Brightening Eye Cream. So there's a very, very long list of ingredients for this particular eye cream. I was expecting it to smell super botanical. It's actually not as bad as I was expecting. Still smells kind of medical and honestly a little alcohol-y, but it's okay. The cream is kind of a thick cream, but it blends, or not blends, it really instantly sinks into my under eye skin. And I have not had any sort of weird tingling or burning reactions to this. And also it's not so thick that it makes me think that it's gonna give me, is it called milia? I hope I'm using the right word. Just now in the back of my hand, it feels very cooling, but I haven't really noticed that so much on my under eye. Thank goodness. I wouldn't want a lot of tingling and cooling on my under eye. I'm definitely feeling that now on my hand. Maybe it's because I applied so much on the back of my hand. Usually under my eyes, I'm very, very careful with how much I use. So far, my thoughts on this are very positive. This is one of those things, it will take a long time of use to have a real, true review on. So look out for this in an empties video sometime very far in the future. I will use it until it's gone and then I will give you my final thoughts. But I do have a few more products from them to try. I'm very, very slowly introducing them into my skincare routine. So be on the lookout for more products from them in upcoming videos. Something that was a gift with purchase. I made a purchase at RMS and they sent me a sample of their Kakadu Beauty Oil. Kakadu? This is a vitamin C oil, I believe. So I have not had great success with vitamin C oils in the past, namely for this reason. They're always very golden toned, and after using it every single day for a couple of weeks, I start to notice my skin looking kind of yellow. I mean, I don't know. And I never use very much. Looking at my skin, it sinks in beautifully. Like it doesn't feel like a heavy face oil. When I pressed it in, I used literally one drop for my whole face. I put it in my hands, gently press it in, and it felt so hydrating and lovely. This might be one of those products I can use every once in a while, but not every day. Because again, I get that weird yellowy tinge to my skin and it's supposed to be brightening, but I don't want to be orange. And this isn't the only vitamin C type product that has done this to me. It happens with every single one that I've tried, if I use it long enough. But the actual oil, it does feel so nice. Here's a product I tried from the drugstore. This is the On the Glow blush from Pixi. This has been getting a lot of attention. People have been really enjoying it. So I picked up the shade Fleur, which is the light pink. It's supposed to be for your lips and cheeks. I haven't really tried it on my lips, just on my cheeks. This is a very, very sheer, balmy blush. It takes a lot to make it even show up on my skin tone. And it's very hydrating. It feels really, really nice when you put it on, but the wear time on this was very minimal. I felt like my blush disappeared right away. So I guess I wasn't completely sold on why this was so spectacular. I mean, it's pretty. So a little while back, Viseart was having a sale and I picked up a palette that I have been eyeing for actual years at this point, and I'm so happy they came out with it in a mini. So this is the Petite Mattes Neutral Palette. I just love the way they package their eyeshadows in these cute little foldable palettes. So this is their classic neutrals palette, and usually it's quite large. It's meant for makeup artists, but I don't need a big one, and plus it was quite expensive. This little one went on sale, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick that up. For me, it was between this and the Natasha Denona Biba or the Makeup by Mario Mattes palette. This one, I just love how small the pans are, and I know that I adore the Viseart mattes. Like, I really trust them to make good mattes. I am wearing this shade all over my eye before I put on that sparkly shadow from Urban Decay. I have been testing these all month. This is a little workhorse palette, and I just love the way Viseart shadows blend. They are a little bit dusty. They are not lacking in pigment in any way. You don't need very much. They're very blendy. They are just a joy to work with. And I wish all eyeshadow palettes were this tiny. Because I don't need a lot of eyeshadow anymore. Any eyeshadow that I buy, I want it all to be tiny like this. I wish. Anyway, I just love that. I've got a little single eyeshadow here from Kiko Milano. So this is one of their water eyeshadows. You can use it wet or dry. Mine came very loose in the pan, so I have to be very careful with it. But this is a gorgeous baked eyeshadow. I'll put this one on my wrist. This has the most delightful shine to it. Just gorgeous. And when you blend that out on your eye, the shine remains. It's not one of those shines that will blend away. It is just stunning. What a gorgeous shade. This is the shade 200. It just feels very luxury to me, and I do recommend it. I think it's gorgeous. All right, let's talk about this cream bronzer from Physicians Formula. So I feel like the way that they have marketed it, it's not clear that it's a cream bronzer because they call it a serum and powder hybrid, but it is a cream bronzer. So this is what they call their Mineral Wear Diamond Bronzer, and I had the lighter shade, the shade called Bronze Gem. You put your fingers in it, it feels very, very melty and thin. Like, it's not a thick bronzer. And I just love that thinness. Like, that's quite a heavy swatch of this. This, I am wearing it today, shears out to be very, very thin, and I think really flattering on the skin because it has a kind of a very nice skin-like glow. And since it's so nice and thin and blendable, it's easy to lay down a very light layer, and I think it's very pleasant. Very, very nice. And Physicians Formula sometimes has really intensely scented products. This is not. It even says on it, safe for sensitive skin. Actually, what it says is for extra sensitive or breakout prone skin. So maybe that's why they left out the fragrance. I'm appreciative. I think it's very nice. I have a couple more skincare things to mention. So I've been trying out this beauty, not beauty, pardon me, blue tea sleep night oil. So this is a 1% Gran Active retinoid, and it has blueberry extract. So this, we're just gonna layer all the skincare on this hand. So this is a blue tinted oil. Now, I did not notice this tinting my face at all. It very, very quickly just soaks into the skin. I was unable to use it for more than a couple of weeks. Even when I started using it, I only used it like every other night. It was supposed to be pretty safe for your skin, even though it has that retinoid in it, but I just can't do retinoids anymore, I think. It made me break out. But if you can do retinoids, and you just don't want something really intense, I would actually recommend that you try this. I thought that it really felt nice and hydrating on my skin. And then again, it did not turn my face blue. Sometimes oils like this can be really expensive, and from e.l.f, this was actually a not bad price. I'm hoping I can find a friend who's willing to try this because I think it's actually quite nice. My skin's just too sensitive for it. Okay, let's talk about this sunscreen from Neutrogena. This is the Hydro Boost Hyaluronic Acid Moisturizer with sunscreen. So this is SPF 50 and it's fragrance free. Now, I think when I first tried this with you guys, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a light blue. It's actually not light blue. I think it was just the lighting at the time. It's just a plain white cream. This actually feels also very, very nice. Look at how quickly that blended into my skin. It doesn't leave any sort of a white cast. It feels very hydrating, but there's something about the formulation of this one. It does not always play well with makeup. It did not work well with the CoverGirl Skin Perfector Essence, and it did not play well with my Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. It seemed to work fine with Estee Lauder Double Wear and with my Believe Beauty foundation. So this is one of those, it takes a little bit of experimentation, but I'll definitely wear it. I also was kind of careful not to get this near my eyes. I felt like it did sting, which is such a bummer. You really want to get sunscreen up around and on your eyelids and everywhere you could put it possibly. You want to put sunscreen, and this one I don't. I put it way around my eyes because it did make my eyes sting. So there's some nice parts about it, but it's not perfect. Let's talk about this blush from MAC. I've been testing this for a little while and it's been kind of taking me a while to get my thoughts together on it, just because I feel like it's just a little bit nondescript. There's just not a lot to say about it. So this is the Mineralize blush from MAC in the shade Sweet Enough. And this is the blush that I'm wearing right now. You can tell it is a very soft pink. So I was expecting with a Mineralize blush for this to be very glowy, and that is not the case. Not the case at all. And look how sheer it is. It's very sheer. I really built it up to even get this on my cheeks today. So this shade anyway is quite sheer. I don't know about other shades in this line, but if you like a sheer blush, you might enjoy this one. I wouldn't say it's completely matte, but it's definitely almost matte. It's not even a true satin. It applied very nicely though. I didn't notice any patchiness or anything like that. It's just a very pretty everyday color. One more blush. So this was gifted to me by a subscriber. This beautiful Dior blush. This is in the shade Coral, which I personally don't find it to be super, super coral. To me, it's very, very kind of orangey peachy. This blush is also incredibly sheer. Really, really sheer. Interestingly enough though, it does show up. So it's one of those where you're like kind of going, thinking you're not applying much, and then all of a sudden you're really wearing blush. So it does show up. For me, this is more of a layering blush. When I want a little bit more warmth in my blush, this is something that I would put on top or underneath. By itself, it's not necessarily my favorite color, but if I'm gonna use a blush for layering, I like that it is quite sheer. Also, it calls it the Rosy Glow blush. Mine is not glowy. It's pretty matte. At least I don't think it is. Am I just not? Yeah, I'm like swatching it over and over to see if there's any sort of glow in there. I'm not seeing it. A very interesting product. Thank you again so much for sending this my way. Okay, the mascara I have been testing. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I know I'm saying that very late in the video, and if you watch it all the way this far, thank you so much. I review a mascara every single month. Sometimes it is a new one that has come out, sometimes it's one that's been out for ages. This month I was reviewing the Covergirl Clump Crusher. So I really built it up to be able to get this look today, but this is definitely on the more natural looking side. This is even the very black one. So I really like the brush. I tend to like brushes like this. It has a nice little curve to it. Again, you can hear kitchen noises, sorry about that. This formula is quite dry, so it gives you a lot of time to play with it, to fan out your lashes. And this is actually a great one for fanning the lashes because the Clump Crusher claim is very, very true. This is one of those wands I would contemplate sanitizing it and just keeping it around to brush through other mascaras to make them fan out better. You don't ever get clumps with this. Like if you are anti-clumpy mascara, this would be the one for you. So I would recommend this mascara to people who don't want a super intense, bold lash, but who appreciate kind of a more fluttery, soft looking lash. Not necessarily my jam all the time, but I can appreciate it for what it is. Oh, and how it wears. It actually wears pretty good. It doesn't wear perfectly. I will occasionally get a little bit of smearing if I've been wearing it all day, but actually it wore pretty well for me. One last update. So I have tried this formula before from MAC, but not these shades. So I've been testing these as well. So here we have Desert Rose and Melba in the powder blush formula from MAC. These have way more pigment than the Mineralize blushes do, and these are matte. So first we have Desert Rose. This one I felt like is a very beautiful everyday shade for me. I really like that. And Melba, I know it's a favorite for a lot of people. I actually wasn't too sure about it. I felt like I could pull it off, but it was a little bit not quite right for me. So I actually might give this to somebody, but I'm definitely gonna keep Desert Rose. Okay, that was all the products I was ready to review. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. This is always where I talk about my tea of the day. Today I am drinking Jasmine Dragon Pearl tea. It's a perennial favorite for me. I hope that you're drinking one of your favorite teas today too. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'll see you again very soon in the next one. Bye.